All right, people. I thought about doing another podcast here, or live stream, I guess. It's not really a podcast because it's not audio, it's just video. But anyway, but I decided to just do a small, quick video instead. Still, I'm live streaming it, but mostly because it's just easier to post it that way, so I don't have to edit and do all that other stuff. So, that's personal choice. Alright, so as you probably could tell by the title, it's talking about Trump's inauguration and the response to it. Now, I it's difficult because I mean, the last few months have been a very tense few months since he won, since that shock he won. But even after 2 months, people have not calmed down. So first, I only caught a little bit of it. Um, uh, of the inauguration itself, and I caught his speech, Trump's speech, and some of it I'm like, okay, great, it sounds great, and some of it I'm like, okay, that's a little aggressive. You're probably gonna upset some people, um, but it is what it is. You know what he's gonna say, um, but I'm not gonna talk about that too much. I'm more interested in his actions than his speeches. Um, So we'll see in the coming months and years what he does and how he does. But what I do want to talk about is on Inauguration Day, the protesters came out again, and they turned violent again, breaking windows again, setting. I saw a limo on fire. They were they were trying to push to get to the inauguration parade, which if you're being a rioter and you're being violent, you can't do that. I mean, it's ridiculous how much children these people are acting like. You don't have to like the guy. You don't, and you can protest all you want. I'm not saying you shouldn't protest, but stop breaking people's businesses, breaking into them. Stop destroying people's cars. I saw a guy who I guess was a white nationalist or something. He's whatever. You don't have to like him, but don't go up and insult him. That happened. A random protester came up and punched him. Someone got in the way a little bit. I saw in the video. But these people, it's getting ridiculous. And what you don't understand is by keep doing this, you're turning everybody in the middle away from you. We're seeing how you're acting. We're seeing that you're acting like children, that when you're not getting your way, you're going to throw a temper tantrum, and you just keep on coming. We don't like it. Because I consider myself more of an independent with right-leaning tendencies, but not everything is, I believe, on the right side, the conservative side, the Republican side. But I tend to be more right side. Um, someone like me, when you do this stuff, when you're far left, okay, because let me be clear. So the far right, conservative, when you think of like the actual racists, the actual bigots, the people that um, KKK, all that stuff, I'm against them, hate them. I try not to hate people, but completely don't want to be associated with them, don't agree with them, you know. Um, at least they're not burning down, cities. I know that's an exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying. Um, but I don't agree with them, right? So now we're getting a bigger group on the left side, a bigger group on the left side that is more violent, that does all this destruction because of somebody who won and because of a couple words he said. Now, yes, they were bad, horrible things that he said. Particularly, I'm talking about women, because if you've seen my video previously, you know that I don't think everything bad about Trump that everybody else does. But I do think that his treatment towards women is definitely, as Hillary would say, deplorable. um, but it's difficult because every time you do this, you know, I want to get. You have the right to protest, but when you keep doing this, I'm just like, no, stop it. And I'm going to continue to go to the right because I feel like majority of the right people are more sane. They don't react. You know, a lot of the stuff that they do is thought process. Now, that's not always the case, because definitely in Obama's inauguration, there were some people who did horrible things. You know, holding up signs regarding, but regarding him going back to Kenya and whatever, calling him Muslim, all that stuff. You know, being hateful. So there's those people, and I disagree with them too, because Obama was my president and I didn't vote for him. I didn't, but he was my president, and I was like, all right, he's my president. Let's see how he does. And then he does that. I didn't hate Obama. I just didn't think he was ready. That's why I didn't vote for him. But I won't get into that. Now, Trump is very offensive. His policies, we'll see. I think they're gonna evolve and change, because, you know, I think he's gonna realize that he's gonna have some resistance. Now, right now, him having the House of Representatives and the Senate, it'll be a little bit easier for him to get some stuff done, which might not be a bad thing, depending on what he wants to do. But yeah, I mean, wait till he does something. He's made no advances towards the LGBTQ community. He said that he would protect them. Yes, he has talked about Islam, but that is a debate, because it's not Muslims, but it's Islam that's is kind of an issue there, because it's an ideology of violence and politics. Whereas something like when they try to compare it to Christianity, Christianity's faith, it's not politics. That's a big difference. It's a big difference. But anyway, and I don't think this should be a Christian nation. You know, I'm a Christian, but I don't think it should be a Christian nation. I don't think this would be an Islam nation. Now, with all this, and I look at all these people that are so offended and so just can't handle it. It's sad how far we're falling, and it's funny. And you'll get more allies if you stop being destructive. Now, the day after, the 21st, was the Women's March. What was the Million Women March or something? I don't remember. But you know, protesting Trump, obviously, on women's issues. You know, I think the main drive of it was abortion, because I know Trump is anti-abortion. He's pro-life. Regardless of whether you're pro-choice or pro-life, from what I've seen on the online and on TV, the Women's March was peaceful. So here's what I will say to that. Whoever organized that, whoever was the organizers for, you know, the different areas. I know they did it in Washington. I think they did it here in, I don't know if they did it in Denver, but I know they did it in Colorado Springs. I know they did it in Portland. So whoever organized those, you know, great on you for not letting it get violent. If it did get violent anywhere, obviously I did not hear about it, because I did look into it a little bit to see if I could find it. So that's how protesting is supposed to happen. And that's more effective for me. I will look at that and be like, okay, great. Let me hear what they have to say. You know, let me see if I want to get in on this. You know, great. But if you're burning stuff like the day of the inauguration, I'm not going to stand by you. I'm not. Um, Now, as far as the women's march goes, I know a majority of them were women. I know that men um, participated, but I know a majority of them were women, and that might be that might be a testament to men being more violent, have violent tendencies. So that could be the case, which I definitely know is true. I mean, men have testosterone; they're more aggressive. They're more likely to escalate things. So that might be a testament to gender, so to speak. And I'm talking about men and women, no other genders I'm talking about, okay? All right. Um, and then I don't know if um, in the Women's March, because I saw the Portland one where there was a ton of people on some pictures here, overhead pictures of like helicopters and whatnot. I don't know if they were blocking traffic or not. If they were, then I disagree with that as well. At least they weren't violent, and I will praise them for that. That was great. But if you're blocking traffic, you're gonna still annoy people. What if that person needed to get home to get to their kids? And I said this before, after election day when everyone was rioting. People need to pick up their kids from school. People need to go to daycare, or they got an emergency of some sort, and they need to get somewhere, and you're blocking traffic. You know, it's so I don't know if the Women's March was blocking traffic. So I don't know for sure, and I'm not going to say it was or was not. All I know is that from what I know, that it's peaceful and it didn't turn violent like Inauguration Day. So kudos for those people who did that and remained peaceful. And that is about all I have right now. Um, so I'm kind of going to wait this next couple weeks here, maybe a couple months here, and see how Trump starts his presidency. And then I may do a video, a longer video, and anybody who wants to join me can. And whether or not we think he's going in the right direction, um, and if anybody wants to join me, obviously can. Whether you're for Trump or against Trump, I have no. Regardless of who you voted for politically, it does not matter. I didn't vote for Hillary. I didn't vote for Trump. And I'm not gonna unfriend people or be rude to people for who they voted for, because um, being someone who didn't side with either side, I saw the faults and the pros for both of them, um, and looking on both sides, because I wasn't so stuck on one side, I think I can see that or I can be objective. Um, for Trump example, I don't think he's that great at talking about women. He definitely was offensive and said some offensive things of stuff that he thinks he could do personally. He didn't admit to doing it, the whole grabbing the woman thing. Um, uh, but I do think that he is in a position of power and now he's in even more position of power where he could take advantage. Um, and he could probably get away with it. But uh, and then Hillary too. I can see pros and cons of both sides, but that's irrelevant since the election's over. So we'll see how he does. We'll see if he indeed makes America great again or not. But guess what? In 4 years, you have the option to vote again, whether or not you want him. So I just hope he does right by the country in all aspects. And then we'll go from there. But for any of you who do see this and you are one of the protesters, to get your point across, stop rioting and start peacefully protesting. That's all I have for you guys, and you guys have a good day.